Good morning everyone and welcome to this meeting of the Lockerbie and Lochmaben Common Good Fund Subcommittee. This meeting is being recorded and will be made available for viewing through the Council's website. Agenda item number 1, Sederant apologies and Chair's approval of minutes remote participation. Scott, can you provide the Sederant indicating who is here in person? And any apologies, please.
Thanks, Chair. I'm delighted to say that present in the room we've got Councillor Davis as Chair, Councillors McGregor and Wilson. Not present at the start of the meeting is Councillor Thompson. And we also have present Mrs Jenkins and Mrs McCarroll from the Community Councils as the community representatives.
Thanks, Scott. Any declarations of interest? Do any members of the committee have any declarations of interest or statements of connection? So moving on to item number 3, minute of previous meeting of the 15th of January 2025. This minute is up for approval. Has anybody got any comments? I was just going to say on the decision on page 9, it's mentioning the been asked for officers to investigate and provide further options of maximising income and licences for the Lockerbie and Lochmaben Common Good Fund, and also in 5.2 for the Lockmaben Caravan Park. This Colin from Property is going to be doing a report and it'll come to the September meeting with the assets, just to let you know that that's going to be happening at a later date in the next meeting. Just wanted to say that. So anybody else? Moving on to item number 5, Lockmaben Common Good Fund Monitoring Report 24/25. Report by Head of Thriving Communities. Scott McMeekin is in the hall to answer any members' questions or address any members' comments. Members, do you have any comments? Councillor Wilson?
I just welcome a report on the caravan site. That's been answered for a wee while. But I was wondering about asked for a report, and it'll be 2 years ago now, about the garages and the rental income from them, because Lochmaben's missed out on that money for a number of years. And just on page 11, the community garden with an annual rent fee for £200. But there's only been £124.81 being received to date. I'm just wondering why that is. And I think it would be good to open it up to applications.
Okay, thank you. Got a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Chair. So firstly on the caravan park, as the Chair said, we'll definitely get a report back on that to the September meeting. I don't know if members are happy for that just to be an action again, or whether you want to consider a recommendation, but I can give you officer assurance that will be coming. On the garages and rental income, I've spoken to property and expect that to be part of the assets report when it comes to September. But again, if members are happy for that to be actioned, we can do that. Or if you want to consider a recommendation, it's up to you. In relation to the rental income, obviously this is just a Q3 report just because of the times of the report. So there has been further income received, but up until the end of December, that's what had been received, and I think it was a part year income anyway, so we wouldn't be expecting the full income throughout the year anyway.
We've had the lease for 2 years, so whether it doesn't quite look right, but that's
oh, it's not shown in the previous years. Okay.
I can go back to finance week and investigate that if you're happy with that, Chair.
Are you quite happy for those to be taken as actions, or would you like them put down as recommendations, Carol? Councillor Wilson?
I'd rather them as part of recommendations, please.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so we'll move to the recommendations. Note that 24/25 monitoring report for the period ended 31st of December 24 in the appendix. Note the projected free income of £1,557.70 outlined in paragraph 3.2. Agree to receive a report at the next meeting, including the financial end of the outturn position 24/25 for Lockmaben Common Good Fund and a financial plan for 25/26. Consider the options available at paragraph 4.6 for opening the Lochmaben Common Good Fund for applications and for financial assistance. And also we'll have a fifth recommendation to welcome a report on the caravan site. And the garages with the rental income for the September meeting going forward. Happy with that?
Yeah, happy. Just one question. How do we promote the fund, opening of the fund?
The same will apply to the next report as well, because I think some community groups and individuals don't know that these funds exist, so we maybe need to better promote them through our council means.
Yeah, so certainly on the website we'll be promoting it through that. We'll promote it through council channels. We obviously know some of the community groups in Lockmaben, but we can certainly take that feedback back. We can do a good job of making sure it's promoted obviously.
Okay, so everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Moving on to item number 5. Lockerbie Common Good Fund Monitoring Report 24/25, report by Head of Thriving Communities. Scott McLean is in the hall to answer any member questions or address any member comments. So members, do you have any comments on item number 5? Councillor McGregor?
Sure, yeah. Probably the same answer on the previous report around the captured income. I'm assuming that that's part year rather than full year.
Yeah.
I think one of the organisations that pay the common good to lease the ground is a higher figure than that.
Yeah.
So we'll take that in instalments rather than a lump sum. Yeah.
If I can answer that, Chair.
Yeah.
So yes, that is part of the reason why it doesn't show quite the full amount, but also there is a slight error on the financial plan that we'll fix at the next meeting when we bring it back, that it's actually £1,400 the rent.
Yes. That's what I thought.
So yeah, it's a combination of those two things, which means the figures are not quite what we're expecting them for a full year, but we'll certainly, when we bring back the end of year monitoring report in September, that'll be reflected.
Yeah, because it's meant to be £5,000 in total from the two resources.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. But it is.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anybody else? No.
I've just noticed we've got Stephen.
Oh, Stephen.
I don't think he's coming in, but it's just saying something.
Okay. So any further comments on item number 5? Okay, so we'll move to recommendations. Members are asked to note the 24/25 monitoring report for the period ending the 31st of December 24 in the appendix. To note the projected free income of £5,801 outlined in paragraph 3.2 and agree to receive a report at the next meeting, including the financial end of year outturn position 24/25 for Lockerbie Common Good Fund and a financial plan for 25/26. Okay. So moving on to item number 6 on the agenda, we've got Lockerbie Common Good Fund requirement to maintain the common good land at Corrie Road, Lockerbie. Report is by Head of Facilities, Waste and Neighbourhood Services. Stephen Wiley is in the hall to answer any member questions or address any member comments. So members, do we have any comments?
I would probably just say that I welcome the report and the update. I'm aware that some in the community have been a bit concerned about us taking trees out of this area. But I think on safety grounds, it's been essential that we got that updated report and ensuring that people are safe if they're walking their dogs up in there. So I appreciate the report coming to us, and we've got sufficient funds to cover any programme of work, really, haven't we?
Yeah.
But we'll get quotes for boundary fencing. Such like
got quotes in there.
Yeah.
Yes, fine.
No, I appreciate that. And I realise that the report has taken a wee while to get to Common Good, and we've had a not insignificant storm at the start of the year, which exacerbated the woods further. I would just like to kind of highlight again that there is no entry signs onto that wood. And it's very clear that people shouldn't be accessing the wood because some of the trees are still dangerous, as is outlined in the tree survey. And I'm well aware that there's at least a couple of instances whereby the wood has been used, and that does give me concern. So it would be good to expedite any decision today to undertake some of these works, especially in relation to the trees. And it would also further give some reassurance to Lockerbie Golf Club, especially with some of the trees adjacent to their clubhouse. But yeah, thank you.
Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Apologies for being late. I had some technical issues, so I'm unfortunately missed the Lochmaben bit. My hand was up actually in the recommendations for the last item, so unfortunately it's maybe a bit late, but it was just maybe to ask through yourself that when we are getting information, I think some of the headings on the financial reports are a bit unhelpful because it talks about inclusive spend, but I don't think it means that on the tables, but I appreciate there's a bit of work to be done. And in terms of income, I did wonder, a bit like Annan, how much cash we get from the fair or other people's folk whenever they're using bits of land that are common good. And again, it's maybe a consistency issue just across the common goods, but otherwise, yeah, it's a work in progress. Just on this item, on the trees, so is there a final cost, and after that's paid, given the amount of free income, would it be beneficial to actually invest that, some of it, for a return, so we've got guaranteed income to give to community groups in the next few years?
Stephen?
Can I just ask yourself, Chair, to clarify the question a wee bit?
Clarify the question again, Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, so which part of it?
All, please.
Look at it for Stephen, please.
So the bit that relates to the last item, or the bit that relates to this one?
Go to this one, please. Thanks.
Is that okay? So
Yeah.
So there'll be a sort of final estimated cost for carrying out the works to the trees for safety, which is what we're discussing, and it was just given the balance of funds in the account for Lockerbie, there's a balance there that's quite significant, that is basically just not necessarily earning what it could for the common good, and I'm just putting it out there that it could actually be earning a bit more money if it was in some kind of fixed return type bond or savings device that would protect the income and generate income for the future.
Okay, the first part I can answer, the second part will be for you, Scott. So for the first part, we obviously have included cost and quotes for undertaking a 3-year maintenance plan on the woods. So you've got a fairly clear what you need to do in the woods to sort the trees, maintain the wood, sort the fencing, and get it in a better state than it is now. So them costs are quite clear. In terms of the investment, that'll be one for Scott to answer.
Scott?
Yeah, just to say that what we can do is we can include options in terms of the investment and the free income that could be generated when we bring back the end of year monitoring report in September and look at the financial plan, which I think we can still look at time for us to consider the options around that.
You happy
Okay.
with Thompson?
Yeah, no, thanks for that. And it was just, and I appreciate I couldn't get in earlier, but just I did overhear the tail end of something for the Lochmaben one, which seemed to suggest that you're going to look at more detail in terms of the assets and the incomes for all the
Yes.
good assets, which presumably relates to the caravan park, which would be welcome. But in terms of Lockerbie, I was just wondering if the same would apply for that as well, because clearly there's assets in Lockerbie that could be for sale, or bits of land here and there and all the rest of it. I presume that's the way we're heading. Is that okay?
Yes,
And again,
that's Councillor Thompson.
okay, thanks. It's my fault for being late, so apologies for that. Thank you.
That's okay, don't worry about it. Anybody else? Councillor McGregor?
I think September will be the appropriate time with the financial monitoring report, but with some of the trusts and common goods and what have you that we're involved in, we occasionally do get somebody from finance to come along and advise us where we may be able to get better bang for our buck, to put it bluntly. So maybe if we could get somebody from finance to attend that particular meeting. Scott?
Yeah, so we can certainly look into that. I do know that there are other common good funds in the region that are currently talking about the input that finance officers can have in relation to common good funds. So between now and September, we can certainly do everything we can to do that.
That's fine. And just one other question in terms of the quotes, because we've got two separate quotes for, do we need to make a decision on which one is accepted? Or is that operational and we just leave that down to officers?
I think it would be useful if you just accept which quotes that you're comfortable with.
Well, there's not an awful lot between them, is my point.
No.
Yeah.
But it is your call because it is a common good asset, so it would be your decision on the two quoted. The good thing, the sort of good thing, is we didn't have to go through the procurement process, which I thought that we may have because it didn't exceed 20,000.
Right.
Okay, so what about the quotes? What's members comfortable with?
Obviously, there's not an awful lot between them. Reality. So I suppose looking at spending common goods funds, we should probably be going for the lowest quotes.
Yeah.
Both contractors are of equal.
Yes.
We use them both on a regular basis.
Okay. So if we go with the lower quote,
That would be quote one for fencing
Yes.
costs, quote one for maintenance costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so quote one. Okay. Any further questions?
Yes, I'm being
Yeah.
pedantic. So for the maintenance costs, quote one is 12,650, but doesn't indicate anything about VAT. The quote two is 13,000 plus VAT. So,
That's how it came to us.
right, so we don't know. I mean, it wouldn't matter anyway because it's still a lower figure, but
Yeah,
we don't know whether that's including VAT or not.
no, that was their figure on the official returned quote.
Okay, so it's still less than.
Yeah.
Everybody happy with that? Any further questions?
How soon will this take place now?
For yourself, Chair. So now we've got the decision to undertake the works. We've identified the contractor from the quotes provided. I can literally go back today and instruct the contractors to now undertake the works. So depending on their workload and scheduled jobs, it'll be as soon as possible because I'm well aware of the potential hazards and dangers within the woods. So as soon as.
Happy with that, Doris?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So if there's no further questions, we'll move on to the recommendations. Members are asked to agree to reimburse the cost of the Priest and Galloway Council of £600 for undertaking the updated tree survey undertaken by Richard Gould. To agree to reimburse the cost to the Priest and Galloway Council of £900 plus VAT for the urgent removal of 2 trees following Storm Owen, trees 2160 and 2161 as detailed in paragraph 4.4. To 3, consider the updated tree survey as detailed in paragraph 4.3 and further update provided in relation to the damage caused by Storm Owen as detailed in paragraph 4.4. And 4, agree a suitable programme of works for both the boundary fencing and the woods fully funded by Lockerbie and Lochmaben Common Good in line with the tree survey. Okay. Any other business deemed urgent by the chair due to the need for a decision? I have no further business for this meeting. Therefore, I would like to move on to item number 8. Item number 8, Local Government Scotland Act 1973. We're being asked to consider the adoption of resolution to exclude the public from the meeting in terms of section 50.A, paragraph 4 and paragraph 6 and 9 of part 1 of schedule 7A of the Local Government Scotland Act 1973. Are members happy to adopt this resolution and consider the next item in private?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.